What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mag. So, of course, Newcastle United took on Espanyol at St James's Park yesterday. The game, of course, ended in a 2-2 scoreline, and we're going to go and talk about it in this video, give you my thoughts. So, going into this game, of course, this was the first time that Espanyol has played at St James's Park. Yesterday we have played them two other times before, once in the 60s and once in 2000. Of course, Newcastle winning the match in the 60s, Espanyol winning the match in 2000, and then we come to that game yesterday at St James's Park, which, like I just said in the intro, it ended in a 2-2 scoreline. It did look like at one point it was going to end, of course, with Newcastle winning the match, but it was a late effort, which we will talk about. But first off, the first goal of the game was scored by Espanyol. It was a really good strike, by the way, by the Spanish player. He just rifled it into the top corner. There was absolutely nothing Aaron could do on that one. Even Nicky Pope wouldn't have been able to get at that. So that was, Espanyol taking the lead in the game. Really, really good strike. There was a tribute in there as well for an old player of Espanyol who had passed away. But then it was only 4 minutes later, 21st minute of the game, and we're seeing Lewis Miley doing an absolutely amazing run through. He weaved through quite a few tackles, clips the ball across the box, and who should be there to get on the end of it but Matty Target. I mean, he just jumps up, back post, gets it in, and what a goal. Brilliant power header by Matty Target. Runs off to celebrate, of course, puts his ball up with his t-shirt, and of course puts his high thumb in his mouth, obviously signalling that his girlfriend is pregnant. So congratulations to Matty Target and his girlfriend on the pregnancy. And moving away from, of course, that moment, we've seen the first moment of the game for Aaron to show how good he is, when, of course, he got his debut penalty save, denying Javi low to his right after Target was, of course, penalised in the box. To be honest, looking at it, Michael Oliver was the referee for this game, obviously because it's pre-season. But looking at it on the highlights, on the replay, it really didn't look like a penalty to me. And we've been saying this a lot in pre-season, we really have. We've been seeing a lot of very cheap penalties being given against us, and I don't think that one was, but thankfully Aaron stepped up in his first big moment for Newcastle United, got a massive round of applause for saving it, and justice was done because of that save by Aaron. And then second half chances, we had a few chances in the second half. We had Willow Sula, which had a deflected shot, forcing a sharp save. Fabian Shaw, of course, had a shot blocked from a set piece as well. But it was the 75th minute that scene would take the lead in the game, when it was, of course, Espanyol trying to play out from the back, and Ramon Tarets giving it away to, of course, none of that then Jacob Murphy, the meme king, scoring, of course, to put Newcastle 2-1 up in the game. And then, like I said, very late heartbreak, as it looked like we were going to win the game with only 2 minutes left on the time, and Kiki Garcia stepped up, glanced in a header from across by Pepe Miller, who, of course, crossed it in, and Kiki Garcia got his head onto it. It was a pretty fluky last-minute goal by Espanyol to get the draw, but at the end of the day, what did we see in this game yesterday was the fact that we're seeing that rust disappearing now. That we're seeing, of course, in the games against Celtic, Arsenal, and the other games that we've played so far in pre-season. We're seeing a bright debut performance by Aaron. And if you're wondering who Aaron is, that's my nickname and brother's nickname for Aaron Ramsdale. So that's why I'm calling them Aaron. But we're seeing a brilliant debut by Aaron. Flashes of brilliance as well by Miley and Murphy. And it looks like hopefully we'll get to see a bit more of what Murphy did last season again this season. He's looking really, really sharp going into this season, and Miley is looking absolutely fantastic as well. So we'll have to, see what happens with Miley this season. Hopefully this is a season where we'll see him make that push even further into the first team scene. But that late lapse, at the back end of the match, it cost a win in pre-season. I know wins in pre-season don't really count to anything, but it would have been nice, just to get that win, instead of getting a draw. But it is what it is, nice game against Espanyol. We've got a game against Atletico today at 4:30. The lasses are playing at 1 o'clock against Atletico Madrid's women. Of course, I did my preview for the game against Atletico Madrid's men, but before it's going into them ones, just to wrap up the video really, I think it's going to be a sort of similar situation with the way we play. It's going to be heavy rotation, like we always see during pre-season, and I think the lasses are going to have a really, really good test today. This is a huge opponent for them to play, probably one of the biggest opponents that they've had to play as well. So this is going to be a huge moment for the lasses to get a good, test to see whereabouts they're at in the women's football scene. And then, of course, the men's match at 4:30 is going to be a good test against, of course, a Champions League opposition for us as well, which will, give us a little bit of a judgment on where we sit going into this Premier League season, with this, of course, being the last game that we play in pre-season before we take on Aston Villa in the league. But anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Hit that like, share, subscribe to the channel. There's been a lot of support to the channel lately, but I've seen that there is still quite a few lads and lasses out there watching the channel that aren't subscribed. So if you could, please, it only takes a second to do. It's completely free. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for all notifications so you never miss another video on my channel. And I'll see you all in the weather, lads.